Last year, when voting was just about to begin for the first phase of elections to Bihar Panchayat, a poster went viral. Tufail Ahmed, a Mukhia candidate from Maqsuda Panchayat, reportedly promised that his election would mean government jobs for everybody in the entire village, an airport in the village, an Apache bike for all single men in the village, and free beauty parlors and sewing machines for the women. While reports later claimed that this poster was made as a meme, the poster nevertheless paints a picture. It presents a picture of poll promises that several politicians end up making before and during elections. But this whole issue of promises and freebies has now reached the Supreme Court, and there's a political battle brewing around it, with the Modi government saying that freebies are leading India to an economic disaster, and the Aam Aadmi Party now stepping into the ring to defend freebies. What's this whole battle about? I'll tell you in this episode of KYC on Know Your Constitution. Now, this legal battle began through a petition filed by a lawyer, Ashwini Kumar Upadhyay. This PIL sought a declaration that the promise of freebies from public funds before elections, and I quote, unduly influences voters, disturbs level playing field, shakes roots of free, fair elections, and vitiates the purity of election process, unquote. But to let you know, this isn't the first time that the Supreme Court is dealing with the whole freebies issue, and neither is this problem new. The matter had reached the Supreme Court when a political activist and a lawyer, S. Subramanian Balaji, filed a petition in the Supreme Court against the distribution of free color television sets by the DMK to the people as a part of its pre-election promise in 2006. In an attempt to outdo DMK, the AIA-DMK, then under late J. Jayalalitha, promised mixers, grinders, fans and laptops and other freebies to its voters during 2011 assembly polls. But Balaji had contended in the Supreme Court that cheap rice, free TV, free power, free stove, cash promises by political parties, these are nothing but bribery. Now, an interesting bit of information here for you. The petitioner in this case, Balaji, also had a movie made on him after he passed away. This was a Tamil movie called Sarkar starring Vijay. The movie also saw drama around it when ruling AIA-DMK got angry at the movie for criticizing its schemes. In turn, Vijay's fans threw away freebies, including table fans of the AIA-DMK government, and set them on fire. Anyway, the Supreme Court then delivered a judgment on this in 2013 on Balaji's petition, ruling that while announcing freebies cannot be called a corrupt practice, and that these measures relate to the implementation of the directive principles of state policy. Now, just taking a small detour here to explain what directive principles of state policy are, the Constitution basically says that these principles are fundamental in the governance of the country, and it shall be duty of the state to apply these principles while making laws. But there's a major difference where these aren't like fundamental rights. Fundamental rights can be enforced in a court of law. So you can't go to court and claim that a directive principle of state policy should be enforced. But if your fundamental right is violated, you can definitely go to court and ask for its implementation. So that's a very major difference between the two. Now, let's take a look at some of these directive principles of state policy on your screens right now, which the Supreme Court considered as supporting freebies. So, these principles say that the government shall strive to promote the welfare of people, that it shall direct its policy towards ensuring that the ownership and control of material resources of the community are distributed in a way to promote common good, etc. So, this is the crux of what directive principles of state policy say. But in its 2013 judgment, the Supreme Court did accept that distribution of freebies of any kind undoubtedly influences all people. The court had asserted that distribution of freebies shakes the root of free and fair elections to a large degree. So it directed the Election Commission to verify election manifestos of all political parties which make these promises. It asked the Election Commission to frame guidelines around this. And in compliance with the Supreme Court's directions, the Election Commission issued guidelines in 2014, which were made part of the Model Code of Conduct. These guidelines said that, and I quote, political parties should avoid making those promises which are likely to vitiate the purity of the election process or exert undue influence on the voters in exercising their franchise. They also said that in the interest of transparency, level playing field, and credibility of promises, it is expected that manifestos also reflect the rationale for these promises and broadly indicate the ways and means to meet the financial requirements for it. Trust of voters should be sought only on those promises which are possible to be fulfilled. That's what the Election Commission said in its directions. Just to let you know, the Election Commission isn't completely powerless when it comes to the Model Code of Conduct. In fact, in 1994, the Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Order 1968 was amended to empower the EC to suspend or withdraw the recognition of a recognized political party for its failure to observe the code of conduct or follow lawful direction and instructions of the commission. But of course, it's another matter that the Election Commission doesn't exercise this power too often. Now anyway, the matter has reached the Supreme Court again, and in response, the Modi government took a stand on this issue for the first time. It came out in support of the PIL, urging the Supreme Court to stop political parties from promising and distributing irrational freebies during election campaigns. But the Election Commission has said that it does not want to intervene in the entire issue and that voters can decide during elections whether the freebies policy is financially viable or has an adverse effect on the economic health of the state. So it does not want to intervene. But in this entire mix, now the Aam Aadmi Party has filed an application in the Supreme Court saying that electoral promises such as free water, free electricity or free public transport, which AAP usually assures its voters, are not freebies but examples of discharging constitutional responsibilities of the state towards creating a more equitable society. So there's quite a bit happening in the Supreme Court on this issue. For now, the Supreme Court from its side has proposed setting up a high-powered panel comprising members from various bodies such as the Niti Aayog, Reserve Bank of India, Finance Commission, Law Commission, the EC, as well as political parties, state governments and the centre. But it hasn't formed this panel yet. It's only toying around the idea. Now we'll just have to see how this entire issue pans out in the Supreme Court and how it impacts the free smartphones and scooties and gas cylinders that you're promised as voters. This is Apoorva Mandhani for ThePrint. For more such videos, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.